Finally realizing everything wrong with what she had just done, after seeing that her brother is completely fine and is being perfectly taken care of, Xiaoxin falls into a daze and the reality of it all finally settles in. After calming down a bit, she decides to go back and search for the badge that she had just lost while also thinking about how Sinai had used her. On her way back, she runs into Roy on the road, and naturally, he asks her about what she's doing out here and how she even got out of the campus premises in the first place. She goes silent as she's contemplating whether to tell Roy the truth and face the brunt of his anger or complicate the situation even more by lying. In the end, she decides to come clean. Roy, seemingly being quite understanding about the situation, orders his servants to go search for the badge and explore the background of Sinai as he is quite suspicious of him. After dealing with all of that, he starts punishing Xiaoxin by pinning her to the tree and sucking her blood. She gets really uncomfortable with it and suggests that she will make it up to him by helping him find the badge because she doesn't want to owe him anything. Roy gets a little impressed with her gesture, but then she faints, owing to the blood loss. She then wakes up in her bed 2 days later and hastily tries to look for Roy after finding out that they still haven't found the badge and it's already the date of the vampire ball. As she makes her way outside, she comes across Xin, Roy's friend, who offers her a ride to the ball along with a makeover as she wants to protect Roy's status among the nobles. She reluctantly agrees and gets in his car. On Roy's end, he is stopped at the gate of the ball for his badge, but he gets angry at the receptionist for not knowing him, despite him being a candidate for the Council of the Elders, the most prestigious place to be for a vampire noble. The others then mock him for having lost his badge. It is at this moment that Xin arrives at the party, and out comes Xiaoxin in her beautiful dress, looking like a queen. The other vampires continue to mock him for losing the badge, and tell him that he has no chance to get into the Council of Elders if he can't even protect his badge. One of them even mockingly asks to vouch for his entry, and they all just laugh at his misery. Roy is then called upon the council to explain his incompetence, to which he replies that it's a plot to threaten his position and status as a candidate for the council. A bold claim of getting the badge back is then made to prove that he is indeed perfectly in control of the situation. On the other end, Xiaoxin spots Sinai at the party and goes to confront him. He tries to play dumb by pretending to not know her and complimenting her looks, but she doesn't even give him any room to breathe with her persistence. So, he drops the act and tells her that now that Roy is well on his way to losing his potential seat on the council, he is pretty useless and she would benefit greatly if she joins him and leaves Roy. She refuses him aptly, and just as he is about to get physical with her, Roy comes to the rescue and tells him to keep his hands away from his woman. A council member, Leonard, also joins the fray, and just then, Will, the vampire impersonating Sinai, drops Roy's badge from his pocket. It is at this moment that we get a flashback of Xin and Xiaoxin in the car, where he shows her that he has found Roy's badge, and that too from Sinai's room. She tries to defend his case that it was all just a retaliation for what the vampires had done to his family, but Xin quickly shuts her up by telling her that he is a vampire as well and has just transferred here from the northern region. And so he wants her to get close to him and put the badge in his pocket secretly so everyone else can catch him red-handed with the badge. Coming back to the present, Leonard takes him away to present his case in front of the council despite his pleas. On the other hand, Xiaoxin is busy getting flustered as Roy takes her in his arms and completely refutes that she would try to frame Will for anything. Continuing the drama, Will keeps throwing insults at Xiaoxin and by extension at Roy, that he is not qualified for the council the way he protects that woman. Roy replies by mocking him back, and that's the cue for Lord Leonard to tell him that he's not even worth presenting to the council for his blunder, and orders him to go back to the north as there's no place for him here. The others leave Roy alone too to flirt with his blood servant, and that's exactly what he does as he takes her out of the ball near the fountain in the garden and starts slow dancing with her. He tells her that he took her out of the ball because she might be feeling uncomfortable with all those vampires around. Xiaoxin loves that he paid attention to that and applauds him for it, making the young man flustered. She then expresses her concern for Roy, and she asks him if others will be targeting him in the future like this recent incident. Roy capitalizes on this chance and gets her to trip up by asking if she's worried about him. The flustered girl on her toes, completely at the mercy of the man holding her, really sets in the mood for a long-awaited kiss. Halfway through the kiss, she feels as if someone is watching her, as if she just detected Mayase getting angry at the scene from afar. Roy then takes her home as he says that the ball is pretty much over already. Seeing all of this unfold from the window on the first floor, Lodor, Roy's brother, and Leonard discuss the recent incident, and Leonard tells him that he only got involved in that childish dispute because he was asked by him. On that note, he also applauds the concern he has for his little brother. As a thank you gift, the two seem to share a bond closer than friends, and therefore Lodor leans in to kiss him, and well, probably more later on. Things seem to be heating up on the other end too, as Roy and Xiaoxin lie on the bed with Roy just waiting for the green signal. She tries to resist it a bit, but the constant provocation and her own will to not resist at all come through as the two shared a bed for the night. The next day, Xiaoxin wakes up in bed with Roy as he gives her a gentle yo as a morning present. She gets flustered seeing him in bed with her, but he reminds her about last night, while also complaining that she fell asleep in the middle of it and that he didn't actually get to the good part. He then proceeds to pamper her by feeding her from his own hands and telling her that she needs to fatten up a little as her vitality is so low that she can't even survive 2 bites from a vampire. She remembers the incident and gets flustered, much to Roy's amusement. Then the pair goes to school together, with everyone's gazes fixated on them. Avoiding all the gossip surrounding them, Roy casually drops her off at class and tells her to wait for him to go back. The girls in the class also try to get close to her, but she refuses their offers to socialize as she knows how shallow they are. A few hours later, Roy once again finds her dozing off somewhere in the balcony and takes her home in a hurry to show her something. As they reach home, he shows her a wardrobe full of pretty clothes and dresses her up in a brand new uniform, telling her that she doesn't need to take any insults from the girls at school. She refuses all of these presents and once again tries to play hard to get, but Roy once again forces her back against the wall and kisses her. He then makes her promise that she will kiss him at least once a day or he will think of a new punishment for her. Still not recovered from all of this, Xiaoxin wakes up the next day to find Lodor by her bedside, grinning and laughing over how she is being pampered by his brother. Lodor continues his verbal assault on the poor girl as he tells her that she is nothing more than a substitute for Flay, Roy's last blood servant. This upsets the girl quite a lot, and she goes in a daze thinking that it all may have been just a misunderstanding on her part, while Roy was only thinking about his previous servant. After Lodor leaves the room, Roy enters and tries to get close to Xiaoxin, but the girl had other plans as she asks him directly if she is a replacement for Flay. This makes him angry and he disappears from the room after angrily pushing her down. Ignoring her for the next few days, Roy doesn't make contact with her at all, and even when the two come across, words just don't come out of the girl's mouth, as she is unsure of herself why she's even thinking about making up with him in the first place. All in all, she receives a letter that appears to be from Roy, but she realizes that it's fake. However, still clinging to the faint hope that it might actually be from him, she goes to the place mentioned in the letter, but instead of Roy, she meets the bully girls from her class, and they mock her and then tie her to an iron bar with a handcuff. She then senses the presence of a person after waiting for a while, and immediately thinks that it's Roy, but it turns out to be Mayase, who adds even more salt to the wound as she dunks on her and sucks a lot of her blood. However, before she could finish the job, a mysterious man with a silver dagger comes to the rescue, and just as he is about to free her from the handcuffs, Roy and Shin come to the scene, and that's when he makes his escape. In the end, we can see Roy holding Xiaoxin in his arms gently while he wishes for her survival. Is this the end of this romantic tale? Will Roy be able to save her somehow? Who was this mystery savior? These and many more questions are left to be answered in the upcoming episodes. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave us a like and subscribe to our channel for more.